Peace, 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 family. I hope everybody's having a good day so far. With everything that's going on in the world and so much uncertainty from COVID and the mandate, I decided to do a live on money and resources that may help you on this journey using astrology. So we're going to discuss how people make money, how people spend money, finding a strategy, especially when starting a new business, how you can follow your dream, live your purpose, support yourself, and change your relationship with money using your personal chart. So before we get into that, family, my name is Keisha. I am the owner of A Way of Life. I am a career and business coach using astrology. Family, don't forget, I have the Life Path Astrology class starting on October 1st. We are super excited for another class. And if you're looking for a Life Path Astrology class, you can send me an email at info@awayoflife.net, or you can get your own coaching. It's a 2-week class. It's $100. And then you also get coaching with me. So essentially, if you just want the coaching and you don't want to take the class, that is also okay. But don't forget, we have the live on Tuesday with Miss Tiara at A Day of Royalty, talking about the mandate. She's going to be giving out some self-care tips. And I'm going to be talking about some community building tips. So I'm really excited about that. Can't wait for that. That's over at A Way of Life, family. All right, let's get into it. So automation was going to take over your job in the next 5 years anyways. The pandemic just sped everything up. This was by way of the government not wanting to increase minimum wage. There was already a rise in small businesses, and I think we'll see the continuation of that, along with these self-employment and side hustles, if you will, that you can do, which I'll be talking about in just a minute. But I definitely think that we'll see the continued growth of those themes. I also think that we're going back to being more innovative, inventive, and creative. We got too comfortable relying on convenience and materialism. And so in some way, I believe that, that transformation is also changing, especially because we had the Cancer Capricorn eclipse last year and the year before that. And I think what we've seen was the breakdown of the governmental structures, but now Capricorn on the higher end, instead of the suppressive, oppressive systems and structures, we're elevating into more self-employment and businesses. But that's still going to be hard work. Capricorn is all about hard work and climbing up from the ladder, working your way up from one point to another. And those are kind of some of the things that some of those different positions I'm going to be talking about. But ultimately, because whatever Capricorn does, it helps you build things over time. So ultimately, this process doesn't end just because we don't have those oppressive governmental structures. And so we have to do other little small things, but I still feel like even in that way, there's more freedom. You can pick and choose your schedules with these ways of working, and it allows you to spend more time with your family. So not to say that convenience really is ending, because with automation, I think that is all about convenience, but I definitely think that we're moving away from materialism. Okay, so our values are changing now. People were stressed out from work. Now our personal happiness and spending time with family is way more important. Even with that Cancer energy. So Cancer is all about security, and family, home and family, your generations, generational wealth, generational curses, financial passing down of financial wealth from generation to generation, your bloodline, you know. So even in the sense that you might even have the opportunity to build family businesses, and that way things that you can pass down, financial security you can pass down from generation to generation. And I think that we'll see that continue to build really over the next 5 years. But even though we might not see it this way, ultimately, you make more money when you don't have to split it with 1,000 people. So, and having employment and having all those different jobs, they get a bulk of money that they have to end up to split up between people. At least this way, you have your own business, you're splitting it between less amount of people, if that makes sense at all. And I think we will overall, we'll begin to understand money in a very, very different way than what we might be able to see at this very time. And lastly, I think one of the other concerns that comes up with this process and how where we're moving into is market saturation. This is mental, not reality. I just want to say that out loud. I talked about this in many of my other videos, how I did a lot of work with the men and women that I worked with who was coming out of prison. And as you can imagine, most of their jobs related to selling drugs. And so there was that idea of competition around selling the same product, right? Market saturation. And so we had to teach them skills on understanding how and why that's absolutely not real. And it's so not real. It's just their imagination, right? But there's a system and structure and how you go about, dealing with that process, if that is something that is happening, especially within a mile's radius of your, where you sell your product. And then obviously we taught them how to change their product, right? So really learning and understanding what your skills are, what you're good at, and then finding out, if there's a market for it and if there's a demand for it. And then you market your stuff around that idea. So that was a lot of the work that I did way back. Actually, it's about 5-6 years now. Working with the men and women that I did in prison. So when we're talking about Venus, we're talking about relationships. Now, I've been doing a whole bunch of videos about Venus in the last few months because we have a lot more Venus placements, which is another reason why I chose to do this live, is because I feel like people get so caught up in the romantic relationships, but we have relationships with everything. And I thought money is going to be even more important, especially once we move more into Scorpio season, because Libra season is coming up. Actually, I think it's tomorrow. Wednesday. Libra season starts Wednesday. These are all relationship houses, not to mention the North and South node are going to switch from Gemini, Sagittarius into Taurus and Scorpio. So these themes are going to come up really, really heavily. I think this video, I hope that this video will really help people understand how they can use this to elevate how you can make extra income. All right. All right, so we all know that this capitalist culture teaches us we're not valuable, and Venus rules our self-worth and how much we value ourselves and our relationship to money. It also rules pleasure, what makes us happy, what brings us joy and desire. So do you love what you do? And if you're working at a day job, using your chart, you can really see how it can help you bring more joy into the workplace. It also rules what we attract and how, and our ability to manifest, which is what I'm going to be really digging deep into, talking about using your chart and your placements to elevate on some of these different positions. Venus lives in the second house. This has to do with how we earn our money, how we spend our money, how we budget our money. This also rules career and things you do to get to your true purpose in life, which is that 10th house area of life. But this is such a Capricorn expression, that this is the way you build experience, right? You use your transferable skills and your wisdom, just like the 9th house, to get from one place to another, or to climb that the ladder of success, right? And since we don't have that format anymore, right, that old playbook, which was climb the corporate ladder, with all these businesses changing, and I think that they'll be doing a lot more changing, I'm going to show you how you can do that using these other different positions to ultimately get to that life where, you know, you're living life on purpose, you know, and you're really getting to take the time out to let your money work for you, as opposed for you working for it. I can't tell you how many times I've done a reading for someone and showed them the possibilities of the energy in their chart and how to start to change their mindset, and how they started to change their mindset around their beliefs and choices, especially when you're starting your own business in a system that is created to keep us down. So I'm just going to bring this up a little bit, because I want you guys to see this. So this is what we're talking about right now. Now, I created this chart to match today, the day and time that I started this live. So basically what you're looking at in this chart ultimately is where the stars and moon were, the planets were, when today, right now, you're looking at where everything is today. So I'm just using this as an example chart, family, to give you some ideas on how you can use your chart to leverage how to, you know, how you would use this second house. So this is the second house right here. You can see that it's ruled by Capricorn. And so saying that you have Capricorn, if you have Capricorn in the second house, it's going to be different for everybody. But for example, you would definitely be about climbing the corporate ladder, that's for sure. And you probably would be already in a manager's position. You probably kind of came here with that energy, that know-how, to just be a boss. That's just the truth. But let's just say for another sign, what you had here, you would let's say Cancer. If it was Cancer, then perhaps you would be, it could be family, you know, family that you use to support you on your journey, or that you get jobs through your family, connections through your family, hookups through your family. Maybe you got a family business so that you have that opportunity to go work with your family if you've ever needed it. And of course, you'd be probably good at cooking, baking more than cooking. Taurus is more of a cooking house. And even though this is the house of Taurus, I definitely say a restaurant industry here with Cancer. But those would be the ways that you could earn money to leverage how you would get to your 10th house, which is your purpose, your mission in this lifetime. And because you have Virgo here, then it would probably be something Ooh, you'd be really good at analyzing, maybe even doing like dinner parties, hosting, be great hosting here, organizing, getting people together with Virgo. Virgo's really good at organizing and getting things in order, to be able to host events. Okay. So then it would be consistent of making sure that you're saving, investing any of your money from your different positions that you have in this area of life, to say, for example, to have your own restaurant, right? Say that's the major goal here with this 10th house. And so if you're looking at your own chart, you want to be able to make the correlation between these two and start mapping out the different ways that you can do that. So now we have Taurus, because Taurus is also ruled by Venus. It lives in the 2nd house as well. And we currently have Uranus in Taurus. So our values here in relationships to money are changing on a pretty drastic way. We'll move into more value-based investing. And so that goes back to having a group of people to get money, you know, somehow, some way. I believe I discussed this and talked about this in a lot of my lives, maybe more so the ones that I did on IG, where I explained the multi-level marketing system that they have set up is such a Taurus and Uranus way to gain money from one another, because there's a hierarchy there, but the hierarchy allows everybody to get money. Everybody wins here. So you build a team of like-minded people who are on the same page, trying to build the same goal, like how I have on my wine way of life. I'm doing wine. So obviously everybody who comes on there is going to be interested in selling wine. And so you already have that common goal. We all love wine. We want to sell wine, and everybody's going to have their own ideas on how they do that. This also goes back to the market saturation idea, and how people can begin to understand how you don't have to worry about it. Even if you're not in a multi-level marketing company, you can make it a multi-level marketing company with other companies who sell the same product as you, right? And so what happens is everybody comes on, but they have to pay, right? You are paying to be a part of this group, right? So now that's money for the person who starts out gets that money. And then every time somebody makes a sale, from connecting with one another, sharing with your services, and open yourselves up to a wider audience, you know, there are just so many different things and ways that you can use this process. But as people come in and make money off of each other, we all get paid in relation to whatever level we are, and things of that nature. So ultimately the goal is that everybody gets paid, and that kind of eliminates that market saturation company idea, rather. But I feel like spirituality is going to be another thing that changes with this energy. Like the taboo topics, esoteric things, metaphysics are going to be more supported over time, because people are going to lose faith in the governmental structures and systems. So again, volunteering, giving back, bartering even, are going to be things that we see over time grow as mainstream themes, just because of, you know, people's values are changing. And so we're not going to care about, again, those materialistic things. It's going to be more about, what do I actually need on a day-to-day basis to get me by, to get me through, right? And so you also want to make sure that in this community building process, in some way, shape, or form, that you are connecting with people who can provide those things for you, right? Bartering within between those groups of people that you have, so that you're getting the things that you need on a regular basis, and using that and leveraging that to your advantage. And another way to think about that as a business is white labeling. And I like white labeling because they already have the product that you might not be able to make that product, but it's something that you always wanted to do, and you can sell it, and when you do those types of things, and that also gives you access to, again, things that you can use on a regular basis that you might need to help you to get by. So I really liked the white labeling for that as well. All right. So here are some of the different positions that I've come up with. I hope that I've given you a great idea of how to use this chart, and I'll do a few more examples here as we go along, but some of these things you guys have probably already heard of. Some of them you may not have, but I would definitely just go through them one by one, check them out. And if you have any questions, again, family, or you want some coaching on how to use your chart to do this, you can send me an email at info@awayoflyfe.net, and life is spelled L-Y-F-E. Okay. So you have Survey Junkie. I've actually just signed up to this to get paid to fill out surveys. Let me just tell you that I just got my first, so I've been doing this, just trying it out over the last few days, and I got Amazon, $5 off Amazon, and I'm literally getting paid to like play games and movies and stuff all day. So, and then, you have your obvious Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacart, those things. And then Rover to play with dogs. So you literally get paid to play with dogs. And then if you are an empty nester, for people whose kids are possibly in college, you can use your extra room to rent on Airbnb. And then you have things like Upwork, Fiverr, and virtual assistant. Virtual assistant is actually self-employment, family, but they have so many different options on there. It's really about knowing what your skills are. What are you good at, again? And if you've ever had any positions as a virtual assistant, you can actually turn this into your own business. They have a whole setup for it. I just checked out, I looked at different YouTube videos to see what other people have done. And it's actually really quite interesting. No different than setting up any small business online. Just really talking about what you do, or using, they have so many different apps and things out there that you could use to set up for virtual assistant services, which is really just amazing. I mean, it could literally be something as simple as helping people manage their calendar, and you just be like an appointment setter, like, family, for real, literally, it's that simple. And there are people out there who will pay for that, trust me. So that's an option. And then you have OfferUp, Craigslist, eBay, and Mercari. I don't know why whenever I think of those things, I always think of online junkyards. They're just online yard sales. And if you have stuff, especially now, we're still in Virgo season. I mean, it's really over technically, but it's still a great time to, empty and declutter things. So if you had some things that are still in pretty good condition, you don't have to throw them out. You can sell them, and get some money for your stuff. You can also rent out your car on Turo. And then Swag Bucks, you can get paid to watch movies, and the same thing as what did I say up the beginning here? Survey Junkie. And then you can become a babysitter, right? I've actually considered doing that for some additional income, but also as a form to have somebody else for my son to play with, or just another way to form the single mothers group that I'm working on and how to network. I even give business cards to the Instacart people when they come here to deliver my food. So you can really use these things in so many different ways. It's crazy, but so you can use care.com to become a nurse or babysitter or sitter city. You can donate blood, become a mystery shopper. You can get paid to lose weight. And Swimply, rent out your pool if you have a pool. Rent a friend. I am really excited to see what that's all about. I haven't researched that yet, but I will be. Online train, you can become an online transcriber or teach English. And family, I've done other videos for my videos, career themes for 2020, 2021, and 2022. I would definitely go check those out because it'll give you more ideas, as well as Jupiter and Aquarius. I would definitely go check that one out because I gave a lot of good ideas in that one as well. And I think I have an entire career playlist with different careers for each sign, sign, planet, and yeah, in the house. That's what it was. So go check that out. Family is very helpful. Get paid. You can get paid to put campaign stickers on your car and house. Doctors who are in their residency get paid to be a fake patient. Only Lord knows what they're doing with that, but that was very interesting. And you can rent out your baby clothes, write a book. You guys know I'm working on that right now. Actually, it's a workbook. I should stop calling it a book, but you could also do that with blogging too, family. I'm pretty sure there are other ways and avenues that you could set up blogs that pay you. They don't all have to be free. So there's a way to like write a whole blog and then you just disperse like some of it to advertise. And then if they want to know more, that you can charge them like $2 or $3 for the entire blog. Okay. You can sell t-shirts. I might invest in that. I'm thinking about it. But if you are the type of person who's really got really good, cool sayings, or you draw and have some kind of drawing or talent in that way, you can make your own t-shirts and sell those for some additional cash. And then Maestro, you can upload any online training on Maestro, Kajabi, and Teachable. I think Teachable was cheap and I could not find Maestro for the life of me. I don't know if I'm spelling it wrong or whatever, but the only two that came up were Kajabi and Teachable. But you can definitely try those out. It's just like I did the research. I went to go look to see what it was or what it looked like. Jesus Christ. What is the name? The Patreon. So I have my current life path workshop on Jesus, I don't know why I can't think of the name, on Patreon. And that's what Teachable is like. But I think the reason why I liked the idea of having other avenues is because I feel like it allows you to get in front of other people. I mean, I feel any platform you use, for one, they're going to charge you if they are advertising for it, and then you have to pay to advertise it for yourself. And, you know, you can argue so many things, but I still feel like having access to different platforms, there's that possibility of having it seen by other people, a different group of people. So for all the teachers out there, the homeschoolers out there, Teachable is definitely a great avenue to use. So I feel like for people who don't really care about astrology that much, that would probably be the most interesting piece. But as a teacher and somebody who genuinely is looking to help people learn, I'm going to continue this video doing the sixth house and all the other houses and how perhaps you could use these. And then also we have the eighth house where we're going to talk about different money things that you can do. So family, if you're not interested from this point on, no hard feelings. I will give you your day back, and I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day. But for those people who are going to stick it out with me and ride it out with me by taking a look at your chart here, we're going to talk about all the other houses where you can possibly use that to, you know, figure out how to make your work more enjoyable. All right. So now we're here at the sixth house. The sixth house is what we do on an everyday basis, how we do work, and the type of environment that we like to work in. So if it was Aquarius, you might be into like group work. If it was Aries, you might like to work by yourself, right? It depends on whatever sign you have in this house. And so I have Taurus here. Tauruses are great team players, right? I feel like literally they can work with anybody. Because they have that innate understanding of that second house and what it means to have multiple streams of income, right? So they're willing and able to do whatever they need to do in any field, just to, again, build their way up to that, climbing that ladder of success. And they're stable, reliable, loyal, and very, 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 very supportive and helpful, honest, you know, probably some of the best people you can have on doing any kind of teamwork, right? Because I mean, outside of Aries and Capricorn, I'd say, and Virgo, I'd say these are the hardest working, some of the hardest working signs. So you definitely be into some kind of earthly things, health here. It could even be things around health. So I feel like these are the oil makers, stone sellers, crystals, manifestors, things that help people manifest. So I always usually have like a crystal stone in my hand, even candles, family, candles, the sages and the different combination of essential earth things, you know, the of course the names are slipping my mind, but payola, you know, those things there. I feel like these are the people who might do this kind of stuff here in this house, and even better that it's your daily routine. So they might even have like a written strategy for you on how to use these things on a regular basis, what day to do them, and what days would you be using them for, and very organized here with this placement, and understanding how to use them for manifestation and how to bring more joy and happiness in your life. I'd even say that to the extent of different foods. This would be a person who would be very knowledgeable in helping you get a good daily regimen, healthy food regimen. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but essentially that's just an example, right? So it really depends on what you have here. So basically all you're doing is breaking down the sign that you have in each house to help you know how you're going to navigate through that sign. Okay. What kind of environment would a Taurus like? I'd say outside, especially during this time of the year. But you can also do Google searches, family. For all you have to do is put in what type of environment does Taurus rule, and it'll come up. I promise you it'll come up. Quick Google searches to help you better leverage the energy in your chart. Okay. And because Taurus is currently in Uranus, it might be important to know that too, family. This is definitely that virtual automation era right here. Okay, so we're really getting down to the nitty gritty here on how to work smarter, not harder. So using technology to leverage your time and energy. So that virtual assistant thing, or even the Teachable, might even be great avenues for people to teach things like what days you can use payola, what days can you use sage. If you put some cinnamon in sage, I don't know, I'm making it up as I go. This isn't my profession, but just to give you an example. Or if you do the essential oils, what oils for what day, and people will pay for that. You know, there are people, especially now. Remember, I said taboo topics are in play right now. So don't sleep on those things, you know, don't think that your knowledge doesn't hold weight. Okay. And it'll also tell you what times of day. So late nights or early mornings. Again, you can just do a quick research for that to see how that might play out for you. All right. And then here in the 9th house, Jupiter is what we believe about making money and our expectations. It's also our talents and skills and opportunities. So there's a lot to give through experience and wisdom. Like I had mentioned, I was sharing before with the 2nd house when I was talking about that 2nd house information. So again, when you sacrifice doing these different positions, right? You learn stuff, right? You learn, like, for me, I am a Gemini, so communication and talking is what I'm good at. And so when I first originally started doing these videos, I was just like, I just wanted to talk. And if you look on my YouTube page, you can see, dude, I've been doing this for a really long time, but had no clue on even how to advertise them or nothing. It was just really where I could keep space, hold space for them, because as most of you know who do this kind of stuff, it's a freaking puzzle trying to figure out where, okay, so where do I put this now? I got like 7 videos on my phone and my phone's overloaded. And so then I learned about YouTube. So I was just using this for storage. I was using YouTube for storage, right? And then I elevated from YouTube to social media. And then that's when I learned from everybody and all these different people, okay, but you got to do this and you got to do this and this is how you do this. And it's like, whoa, massive mind blown explosion on all the different ways that you can help yourself get out there, the look. And so in this way, I've gained some wisdom around that and how to do that. And now how to make my YouTube even look better. So you know, you gain wisdom from doing the smaller things that perhaps we may not like. They definitely probably are going to be things that are not what makes us feel desirable. Okay, let's just keep that all the way 100. But remember, when you do that work to ultimately get to that bigger goal, Capricorn gives you gifts over time. And that would throughout that process, but you do have to have a system and structure in place, right? So again, knowing how to budget, making sure you're paying yourself first. So 20% towards, you know, whatever you got to do to keep this business going, right? That's the first and foremost thing. I even have a strategy for that, family. Forgive me, I don't know if it's 20, 10, 10 or 20, 10, 5, but essentially how it goes is you pay yourself first. So everything that the first money that you make goes right back into allowing you to be able to continue doing what you do, right? To bring in money, right? That's common sense, right? And then you get the money for you that no, then you give your 5% to tithing. So who do you volunteer to? Who do you give back to? And then I believe it's 10% for like savings and, and we'll talk more about that in just a second here. Building up other revenue incomes, right? Your assets, right? And then whatever's left, you can use that for bills and food, etc. Okay, so there is a system with the things that you do here, and I can help people with that as well. All right. And okay, so I didn't really go too much into the fifth house, or I did talk about Cancer a little bit, which is the fourth house, because I think it's important for us to know from the fourth house, again, we're building generational wealth. So now that we're spending more time with our family, we get, first and foremost, our kids get to see what we do, how hard it is to build a business, where they would want to help. So you incorporate your children within your daily routines and practices now. You teach them what they need to do and allow them. So like if my son comes to me and he says, oh, mommy, what's that? I don't shut him out, right? Even now I meet with Miss Tiara from A Day of Royalty, who I've talked about before on this platform as well, who we are in a business partnership with the I don't know why my brain is not working, but Wind Down with Royalty TV, that's the name of it. Jeez, the television show that we have on IG, right? And so whenever she calls me and we talk about, what our next thing is going to be, I told her, I was like, I can't shut the baby out anymore. I promised him I wouldn't do that. He's a part of the team now. So instead of locking him out when I'm on the phone, I allow him to stay and he gets to hear. And just, he might not really truly fully understand it, but I want him to see mommy working, right? I want him to be involved in the processes that I'm doing, I give him little chores and goals that he can work on, and he has his own business now. It's really cute, actually. But having the opportunity to do that now with everything that's changing, take advantage of that, right? Incorporate that within your process of building generational wealth and just building with the family in general. Include them in your process. Okay. And that builds security. And it also allows you as a parent to see where their skills are so that you know how to cultivate those skills. And so if you're wondering like where or why this is so important, again, it's just going back to what I was referring to about the importance of getting back on track on those old values when it comes to building with your family. Your family is always your first defense when it comes to building a community. And so, yes, don't get me wrong, you got to expand and get yourself out there, but the family always is the first and should have that first. So you should also be building with your immediate family, outside family, etc. Okay, if you can. I know that's not something that everybody can always do. And so depending on what you have here, it's going to help you know how to even do that. Okay. And then the fifth house is your confidence, your hobbies, and your retirement life. So this is going to tell you really more so once you've accomplished this, what are you going to do with that? Which is probably travel, just living your whole best life, and things of that nature. It's just a simple thing. It could be so much more, but this also can include your children as well. And okay. And then the 10th house, we've kind of really been talking about this throughout the entire time, but this is your purpose, your mission in this lifetime. So if you're trying to start a business, you want to look at the sign that rules this house. You have also been doing your 10th house thing since childhood. So it's important to know what that ruling thing is, because you probably always had an interest in it, whether it was just I don't know, let's say, for example, it's Virgo. Maybe you always organize things, like pretend and you was always the person who was like, well, I'll clean this and I'll make sure this is all cleaned down and everybody can do this and this is what's fair and this is what's not. You know, always the person to organize or get things in order to do them, to make them better. That's what Virgo does. Maybe you was really good at cleaning and you're like a cleaner, somebody who I feel like cleaning is not the best example. I'm going to say feng shui. Like you're really good at knowing where things go to bring in better energy in the home. And people probably always come to your space like, oh, I really like how you got this set up. It looks really, really nice. It's a feel good energy. It could also be things of that nature, right? And so in some way, shape, or form in your life, these things have always probably played out in that way, but you probably never thought of it that way, but something of that is already going to be there. And when you make that connection, you're like, oh my God, I always wanted to do that, you know, type of energy. So, and the reason that is because this rules your public reputation. And so I believe on a deeper level, especially now at this time, we're learning what that is and the importance of how to cultivate those themes from childhood into our everyday life, like I was talking about that fourth house energy. So how do we set up systems and structures that help us from childhood? And I talked about that and break those generational curses around finances to be able to build those structures for that. That's what this time I think is really, really, really all about. Okay, and then Saturn is our work, what we do for our work. This can be our limiting beliefs around money and resources. This could also be what we resist because it's hard work, what we focus on and give our energy to. I'm reading something, so I did put a little bit something in there in the fourth house, and I'll touch on that in just a minute here because that's actually some really good information. But overall, with this 10th house energy, what it shows is you're fierce. So Saturn, like when Saturn is in retrograde or has a hard square to another planet, what it shows is the cracks in our foundation where we need to do a little bit more work to cultivate whatever goal it is that we have. And so when it says limiting beliefs and things of this nature, in that way, Saturn can come through real, like hard, like we experienced last year with all the shutdowns. You know, it really forced us to do the inner work, to look at ourselves and ask, what is it that we truly want? And how hard are we willing to work to get that outcome, you know, to bring that idea to fruition? And so it could feel kind of like that. But how you do that is, again, making sure you have a system and structure and you follow it to the T, right? So that's goal setting, your vision boards, things of that nature to help you cultivate, manifest your goals. Okay. And then that moon stuff that I was talking about is your people. So your customers, your clients, who you let come into your life, how you attract clients, and what you need most. So that was the fourth house. Fourth house rules the moon. And again, with Pisces here as an example, using this chart is definitely going to be more spiritual family. And because we have Jupiter moving into Pisces in January, at the end of December, actually, I think we're going to see a lot more of those spiritual themes play out. But it's important for you to know what your fourth house is, so you know how to, what kind of clients you attract, etc. Okay. All right. And now this one's a big one. I think this one is important because, first of all, it's the season. We're here. We're already probably experiencing these things. And also because the North and South Node is moving into this energy. So I really wanted to dig a little bit deeper into this 8th house energy. And then we'll wrap it up, family. All right, so the eighth house rules debt, taxes, your partner's money, inheritance, insurances, loans, long-term investments. It requires a certain amount of vulnerability depending on the sign you have here. You may be comfortable or uncomfortable with vulnerability, but whatever it is, it's something that you have to learn. And so whether you're comfortable or comfortable with it is not really the point, but the idea is to learn how to be more vulnerable. And that's hard, right? Because I think we all have some limiting beliefs around eighth house things, especially debt, taxes, insurances. Like, how many people have life insurance? And what are the reasons that we're aware of, that we know that we have, that we don't want to do life insurance? You know what I mean? It's really, really important to have that conversation with yourself, because you have to figure out what it is. And the only way you can, if you ignore it, you're just going to keep pushing it further down into your subconscious. And you want to bring it up so that you can bring it out. And in this way, kind of, there's that idea that you're telling the universe that you're ready to heal from whatever limiting beliefs you have. And so with this being here in Cancer, it could be that somebody has a lot of discord with family, so you might not even want to be open to dealing with family, which is fine. By the way, I think a lot of people can agree that family is probably the first people that'll hurt you. Even, in fact, I was listening to Dr. George Fraser, and he was doing a live talking about how the moment you let go of your family, you will succeed more in business, because they're probably the first people to keep you held back, right? And so I feel like a lot of people are going to be able to relate to that, and that's okay. So who do you make your family, right? You probably have some friends or people outside of even your friendships that you've built over the years that you trust like family, and you build with them, right? And you build a community around that and expand it throughout everybody else who's in that community by them bringing in other people. And that's how you grow a healthy community of like-minded people. And that's how you get over that vulnerability. Okay, this could also play out like receiving inheritance and feeling guilty for it, or not wanting to charge people for your services. I think we see a lot of these things play out with entertainers who have passed away, and the stories are always about their assets going to the industry, right? And I think we all kind of gain some kind of unknowingly connections to that. Like, we don't want to be in the industry, or we don't want to be connected to certain specific things because we've seen other people get hurt by it. And so that doesn't mean you shouldn't never go into the industry. You just, again, you have to have a strong system and structure and support system around you of people who are going to tell you the truth. And so what that actually is, the name of that is estate planning, right? And I think estate planning is more under Cancer than it is Scorpio, but the two still play a strong role together, because essentially this is your long-term money here, long-term investment here in the eighth house. And I feel like Cancer is just like, the generations, right? So that is the outcome, right? That is the families, I don't know, the Rockefellers, all those other families there who can tell the stories about they are born into money. I hope that makes sense. So, but being aware of how you are, being aware of how willing you are to let go of control, merging with another person, joining assets. These things freak Scorpio out, or it can, right? Because not all Scorpios are the same. I hate saying stuff like that, but we're talking about the potential for the ego identity to be dissolved and a relational identity is being formed. And it's just not easy, especially if these aren't things that you're practicing growing up on a regular basis, or that you see on a regular basis. So this is going to be super important for the nodes, and a lot of these themes I think we're going to see come up for the next 2 years. But ultimately, this house shows us our fear of control. It's not going to be easy for a lot of people, but the bigger picture from Jupiter and Pisces is going to be more important. It's going to grow more important. Pisces is really going to help us do some spiritual healing to the point where we see like, yeah, I know I'm scared. Yeah, I know I have trouble connecting with another person because of all these other things, right, that I've learned, seen, even on the movies, they show you these things. And so it doesn't even necessarily have to be coming from your family in any way, shape, or form like that. But it's there, that deep psychological energy from somewhere that you've seen these kind of things, of not especially with the insurance stuff. Oh my God, I feel like on every single one of those murder shows or like investigation shows, when especially in a marriage or divorce, how many people do that, get them to sign a life insurance contract so that they can kill you, right, and get the money. So it's just a lot. And so knowing that and understanding that, again, know what sign is here in the 8th house and understand the higher vibration of that energy and practice it, practice understanding it, practice bringing those things that you're trying to incorporate into your life, educate yourself around money, find somebody you trust, right? And build on that. Because these things are going to come up quite heavily over the next few years. So let me just see. I talked about the budgeting. Just to go a little bit deeper, when you're doing a business, because it's this is the Taurus Scorpio axis that's going to be lit up for the next 2 years, starting next month. So what you can do is say you get I don't know, 3 of those other different self-employment things: the Teachable, you got your swag bucks, and Uber. Let's just use those 3 for an example. So you could also dedicate each one of those to a specific bill or purpose. So your budget, family, your budget is your life, your business map, right? It's going to help you structure where your money goes to. So specifically doing a lot of these self-employment, other businesses to bring in income to put specifically towards things in your budget that you need to get paid for. Okay, that's one way that you can do these things. And then also you have the insurances and investing. You can use money for those things as well to, again, make sure you're putting money towards those things so those build over time. So those are your long-term investments. It's whole life insurance, family. Okay, whole life is the type of insurance you want to get, but do your research. I got a book from Billy Carson. I would follow Billy Carson, Dr. Boyce Watkins. And I like Brother Rich too, even though that's more spiritual stuff. It's not necessarily anything to do with money, but it is value building. And I think it's going to be one of those taboo kind of topics that are going to grow over time, that I think can be beneficial to your journey. But Billy Carson wrote a book called Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. And this book is like a freaking Bible, right? It's big, but he has put in there, like, I'm not even going to be able to name all the things that you can do, but I promise you, family, those things in there are worth investing in. All right, so this is also your credit line, understanding your credit, and how you can get business credit. And even if you have a home, so your loans, how are you elevating on your loans? All your residual income. Okay, these are your 7 forms of income, because having one source of income is hazardous to your finances. Okay. But I think that's about all, honestly. I think I even have an insurance company that I particularly like. So if you're interested in any of that information too, family, don't hesitate to reach out. And as usual, I hope that you found this live helpful. Let me just take this down. I hope you got something out of this. If you want some specific information on your chart for this live that I did, send me an email and call it 20 self-employment ways to make money, so I know, and I can even do like a short outline for people if they want that. But I hope you guys find this information helpful. Peace.